Hello, welcome back to Carlist. So it's been 3 years since the 8th generation Camry descended upon us. Now, when it arrived a few years ago, it already presented a Camry that's sleeker than ever. I mean, just look at it, it's nice. But despite that, it was missing a few bits. But this year, they gave the Camry a facelift and it's corrected a lot of its problems. Okay, it's not really problems, it's more like the niggles that people just complain about, okay? But actually, the Camry already looks sleek. The 8th generation Camry, when it was introduced, it really made people go, wow, look at it now. It's no longer vanilla, it's no longer uncle-like. It has that really nice roofline at the rear. It just looks sleek. But yet, Toyota have still decided to give it a little bit of a rejuvenation, starting with the front. Okay, so this front fascia is now different. It's got a rejuvenated look here and it's got this lower bumper with slatted grille stretching from one end to the other, giving it that almighty aggressive look. Okay, let's move to the rear and see what's changed there. At first sight, there's not much really that can tell you the difference between the pre-facelift and the facelift. Well, there's actually an important new bit of the rear of the Camry, and that is at the taillights. Instead of like a wholly clear taillights, you got now smoke taillights at the rear. Now that ties it up with the front end, which is now a bit more aggressive, so yes, it matches. Okay, so even from the side profile, it's hard to tell what's been rejuvenated in the facelift Camry. Well, actually there's nothing much because it's already featuring a very nice shape. The silhouette is just sleek. But once again, Toyota have just picked on the littlest things, and that is the 18-inch machine two-tone wheels. So okay, there you go. Those are the main upgrades on the exterior front. Where it actually improves a lot is underneath the bonnet and on the inside, where it matters in a Camry. So the facelift Camry still features a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine, but what's important is it's no longer the old 2.5 litre engine carried forward from the 7th generation Camry. This is the 2.5 litre dynamic force engine, one of Toyota's smoothest and up-to-date 4-cylinder 2.5 litre engine. So the 2.5 litre dynamic force engine pushes out 209 PS and 253 Newton meters of torque. That's about 20 PS more and 80 Newton meters more than the previous engine. Yes, that might not seem like much, but it's a whole different engine that just makes the car complete. It is smooth, but we'll get to that later in the driving bit. Okay, so one of the other things that makes this car complete is the new 8-speed transmission gearbox. And why is that 8-speed transmission important? Well, we'll get to that in the driving bit. So okay, before we get to the driving bit where we talk about the impressive new engine and gearbox, let's talk about the differences here on the inside at the front. Okay, yes, it might not seem different, but this car is all about tweaking little things to make it even more better. Okay, starting with, there's no longer brown faux wood trim. Now you get a black faux wood trim, which just gives it that youthfulness that it needed. Okay, also the aircon vents here have been moved downwards, and instead of the aircon vents at the top, you get a JBL infotainment system. Yes, while the JBL infotainment system is huge, it's still a bit not high definition. It looks a bit dated, but still, you know, in a Toyota and a Camry, sometimes simplicity takes precedence over tech and flashiness. Okay, so also other tweaks, little tweaks that have been made to make this car even better include, yes, there's no longer a piano black trim here at the window switches. It's just black now, no longer giving it that fingerprint magnet feature. And also, there's still this wireless charger, which I just despise. It just does not fit my phone. I'll have to take off the cover for it to recharge wirelessly. I don't know why that is, but it's just one of the things that I don't like about the car. Also, Yes, a lot of bits of the Camry here is nice, but when you spend a bit more time in the Camry, you start to notice this hard plastics. But like I said, in a Toyota, in a Camry, sometimes simplicity, robustness takes precedent over flashiness. Okay, like I said before, the Camry is full of small but important upgrades, including in this area, the rear, perhaps one of the most important parts of the Camry. Okay, one of the best new features in the Camry is this: the control panel on the armrest. What can you do with this control panel? Well, for starters, one of the best features of the Camry is this: reclining powered seats. So yes, you are going to be more comfortable than ever in a Camry now thanks to this. Also, the Camry now has a 3-zone climate control system. So there's 2 at the front and 1 here for the rear, and you can control that too through the panel here. Yes, you can't control the fan speed, but you can control the temperature. Also, there's also buttons, or touch buttons anyway, for this. Oop, let me press that. The shade, yes, you can control that here too. Okay, also you can control the radio through this here. So power on if you want music, and you can even control the volume of the music. So you no longer have to ask the driver if you want your music very loud or very quiet. Also, there's just one thing: you can't control the airspeed. That's a bit of a downer, but still you can control your temperature. Also, one of the things, you've got a cup holder here, and you've got a manual blind here. So yes, the Camry is now even better at the rear. Very Lexus, I must say, in my personal opinion. And it's just really has transformed the car. Yes, it's just so many small bits, but still, it's really important, making this car, lifting up to another class. But still, you've got the regular things like USB ports here, and my favorite feature, of course, the controls to move the passenger seat here for more extra legroom. Okay, I might be nitpicking here, but I did notice something. If you have the reclined seat in its most upright position, this will be flush, and it's okay for people to sit in the middle. But if you have the reclined seat in a relaxed position and everybody in the car, there is this protrusion here. So every time you want to take 3 passengers in the back, you're gonna make sure all your seats at the front. Also, another thing, this just doesn't do anything. I was expecting it to open up where you have a compartment, but no, it's just there. Probably something that they can improve on for the next one. Okay, so now we are in the driver's seats, perhaps where people would say the Camry lacks. Well, ever since the 8th generation arrived, that has stopped. Okay, it now handles good, feels good to drive, something that was probably criticized about the Camry for the longest of time. Yes, Toyota has fixed that. It's no longer just a car that you just drive, treat it like an appliance. It actually can provide driving pleasure. Okay, yes, when we say that, the new engine and the gearbox adds on to that driving experience. Okay, so previously, yeah, it felt a bit noisier, it didn't feel so smooth. Now, with the dynamic force engine, this car feels alive. The gearbox, okay, it's very smooth, and it's also quick to downshift. You just tap on the pedal, it downshifts, and there you go. So right now we're gonna try to take this bend. Okay, look. Oh yeah. Previously in a Camry, you'd be really struggling to do that, you know, just wallow everywhere because, you know, it's comfort oriented. But in this Camry right now, it's got a good balance of comfort, handling, composure, and smoothness, okay? So yes, the new engine anyway, it just feels supremely smooth. It doesn't even feel like a 4-cylinder engine. It feels more like a 6-cylinder. It gives you the impression, that smoothness of a 6-cylinder. And like I said before, that gearbox is the right partner for this engine. It's just so not there. If you know what I mean there, it just, you don't feel like when it's going to upshift, downshift. It just works. It just works in the background, doesn't let you know what it's doing. It's just smooth, just there. Okay, so I've never been really a person to be like, wow, I want a Camry. But this, right now, I actually wouldn't mind one, okay? It's got everything that you'll ever need. You've got great driving experience, a good engine, albeit, okay, it doesn't have the most grunt in the world. It's only 209 PS and 253 Newton meters of torque, but it's got enough. I mean, like on the highway, it's just so, like, once again, not there. It just works, and the power is there, the delivery is smooth, and it's just one of those things you just enjoy when you get older in life. You don't want to feel a lot of things. You just want to relax, cruise, enjoy the scenery, and this can provide it to you, especially when at the back of your head you know that nothing's ever going to go wrong. Well, not ever, but it's just going to be robust. This car is going to be a robust car that's never going to give you any problems, and you can just enjoy it for what it is. A car that can comfortably take you to places, take your family to places, and enjoy life, enjoy the sea, enjoy the road. Yes, you can enjoy open roads now in the Camry, through the bends and everything like that. Okay, yes, there are things that I do not like this infotainment system here. It feels old. Yes, it does support Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but still, it just feels like it's not from this year or last year. In fact, it feels like it's from a few years behind. What's particularly impressive about the Camry is that balance of like handling and comfort, okay? It doesn't have a tricked out suspension. It's got one of this old school spring and absorber type suspension. So, but it just works well. Like, you know, it's just, it doesn't feel like it's hard, it's harsh, it's soft, but at the same time, it's got good handling. Something that's really hard to balance, and I think Toyota have got this right. I mean, look over the speed hump, you're just floating over it, and it's not doing it through like electronic suspension or anything, air suspension. And I just think they have just mastered it and balanced it really, really well. And what a joy, because you know, in about 100,000 kilometers more, you'll have to replace them, and you know it won't cost an arm and a leg, just like how air suspension or those electric suspension would cost you. So the other new thing in the Camry is Toyota's latest safety sense, okay? While it's got things like adaptive cruise control and autonomous emergency braking and stuff like that, it has improved on those features. So now you get nighttime pedestrian detection and cyclist detection. The cruise control can also now detect cornerings, and you know, this is the improvements that has been had to this car. Like I said, it's things that you would not really say, wow, look at that change. It's all there, it's just working flawlessly in the background to give you a much better car. Okay, also new is the lane centering assist. Now you might like that because, or you might not like that because, yes, it does tend to like have a brain of its own and try to push you in the middle, but that's a safety feature and probably one that will come in handy if you are ever tired or just not paying attention. All in all, I no longer feel like the Camry is uncly. Yes, people said that about the 8th generation when it arrived 3 years ago, but there were still just things that were missing. And now I think everything is complete. Everything from the engine to the gearbox to the rear powered seats, everything is just complete in this car. Okay, some might say, all right, it's still got a naturally aspirated engine, but I'm sure Toyota have thought this through and given a very good case for why it still wants that in this car. And I think one of it is because simplicity is the key to robustness, and just less headaches. The handling of this car, it just feels agile. It doesn't feel like a big car. It feels like a small car. It's just so impressive. And Toyota, you really fixed whatever complaints that people had about the Camry. And it's very hard for anyone to complain about anything about the Camry right now. I mean, yeah, alright, the interior is just a bit old school-ish. But like I said before, robustness and just something that's hard wearing takes precedence over flashiness in this car, and it'll probably look brand new still in 10 years. And that's thanks to just simplicity. Can I fault the Camry anywhere? Not really. Okay, yes, sometimes I wish there was a quicker way to turn off the lane centering assist and things like that. But generally, there's just no complaint. Yeah, alright, I've complained about the infotainment system, but still it works. It's okay. You've got maps here, you can connect your phone to it, but still there's just nothing to complain about. In this last 3-4 days that I've had this car, I've just been utterly impressed. In fact, I've been utterly had a different thought and perspective about the Camry now. It's a car that I can probably live with, probably a car that's probably the right choice if you buy a car with your head, and just perfect. Well, not perfect, but just sheer brilliance. Alright, so there you have it, the facelift 8th generation Camry. It's got small, subtle but important tweaks everywhere. The rear now comes with powered seats. The panel there controls everything from the radio to the blinds, the air conditioning, the engine and the gearbox. That combination is just heavenly. Now it just adds to everything that was great about the 8th generation, but now it's even better. Is it worth 209,000 ringgit? I can't answer that for you because only you can answer that, but I tell you what, never before have I ever wanted the Camry till now. Alright, till next time, see you again. Ta-da!